Hey everybody, Uncle Rich here for Who's Telling the Truth. Guys, this is show 199. Today's date is December 18th, 2017. And the name of the show is State-Run Media. I know, right away you're going to think, I know. You're going to say, Rich, you're going to do the show is going to be about Russia, right? How they control their people with the state-run media. Or the show is going to be about China, right, Rich? The show is going to be about how China controls their... or the show is going to be about North Korea, right? Right, Uncle Rich? It's going to be... No, guys. This show is going to be about Fox News and the conservative media and hate radio. But before we do that, we got to take a victory lap, because our last show, our show 198, was called, I have such a hard time with this, was called No More. And why? Because we wanted people not to vote for Judge Moore in Alabama. And so it came down to Uncle Rich and Who's Telling the Truth and the president. Let's hear what the president had to say. Judy, first clip.
Hi, this is President Donald Trump, and I need Alabama to go vote for Roy Moore. It is so important.
It's so important, but guess what happened, Donnie? It seems that people listen to Uncle Rich more than they listen to you. Uncle Joey! See, Uncle Joey doesn't believe me when I tell him the power that our show had. Now, when the polls opened, we only had 17 views, but all it took was one. All we needed to get was the right view. So you can see, we make things happen around here, and it's really simple. So we just, we really just want to take a victory lap and really just put a little salt in the wound. Judy, can you play the clip one more time just so we can...
Hi, this is President Donald Trump, and I need Alabama to go vote for Roy Moore. It is so important.
Donnie, you need a lot more than that. But what you don't need is you don't need people like Alex Jones to be backing you and to be standing behind you and to be in your corner. And guys, how this guy comes up with this stuff, and I tell you, like on tonight's show, we're going to have fun in the very beginning, then we're really going to get down to the nitty-gritty with state TV, but we're also going to talk about hopefully the tax plan that doesn't go through. And guys, there's still hope. Everybody's writing it off, but Uncle Rich still says there's hope. And I tell you, there might be a way. And there's a few little things that we might be able to talk about later. But guys, let's enjoy, this first full clip is going to be with Alex Jones. And he's going to start with the typical Fox stuff. The dead people are voting, they're bussing people in, all the jibber jabber that you hear on Fox News, he just perpetuates it, passes it on, and he turns middle America and people like Uncle Joey and little Stevie into conservative simple folk who just believe everything they hear. So, Judy, let's have a little fun with Alex Jones in clip number 1, please.
Now they've already had to do what Napoleon did. They've deployed everything. They've launched all reserves, attacks, everything, fire, 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 fire. But they're not raising money. They've spent the little they've got on this Moore thing, betting everything on it. And notice the Democrat judge said, oh, we're going to erase all the computer files after tonight on Wednesday morning. So there's going to be no
erase the computer files.
Try that, Moore. Oh, and the polls said he was going to lose by 10 to 15 points. Fox News, CNN, same garbage to create a bandwagon effect with some to go, well, I better vote with a winner. He's going to lose. So he lost some there. And then they just came in, baby, and they, as they do all over the country, had the dead people vote and had the folks busted in those Democrat areas, and they stole the election. When my research shows Roy Moore probably would have won by 6-7 points.
6-7 points, that's all.
So it really is biblical what we're witnessing, and the dirty tricks of the Clintons and the dirty tricks of their systems in this country reaching down through into daily life. I mean, they come after you when you fight them. They run intelligence operations. They destroy families. They pay people off. They threaten weak-minded people into going along with them. But their reign of intimidation and their reign of just the dirtiest pool ever played in this country, probably in the world, is coming to an end.
See what he said? They prey on the weak-minded people. You mean the simple folk? The people that can't read a thermometer? The people that can't understand the science of global warming? Oh, and on the way down to the studio, I listened to Rush Limbaugh on our local radio station, and Rush Limbaugh said that he doesn't know why people believe in global warming because the globe hasn't warmed at all. Guys, does he know that, you can look this stuff up? That we have charts? Guys, I'll pull out a chart. We got a bunch of charts. We'll have some fun with that. But you're going to say, well, Rich, these people that support Moore and support Trump, they can't be that stupid. Hey, guys, let me tell you something. With this next clip, you're going to see the people that voted for Moore, and you're going to say, wow, they really can't be that stupid. So, Uncle Joey, I know half these people are your relatives. So, Judy, can we have clip number 2, please?
Kind of ridiculous. It was 40 years ago. So what if he dated teenagers? Yep. I dated teenagers when I was 30.
He kissed a girl and read her a poem. Big woo.
I think it does happen. You have a lot of older men that like younger women.
40 years ago in Alabama, there's a lot of mamas and daddies that'd be thrilled that their 14-year-old was getting hit on by a district attorney.
People are more excited to vote for an alleged predator right now. They're not less excited.
Absolutely. I believe that if the good Lord's forgiven him as a Christian, I have to forgive him also.
I like him because he's a born-again Christian and he tells the truth.
It's just an attack. It's just dirty politics.
It's just odd that they come out 40 years later.
It's someone that's trying to cook up a story.
By show of hands, how many of you think all the women are being paid?
Where did you hear that this woman got paid $50,000?
I didn't hear it nowhere. I just made that up.
It's like being a mom. You don't want to see your children bullied. You go after the bully.
He's older than a child.
Right.
And he's being accused of going after children, but that's what he denied.
If Roy Moore committed a sin, that's a sin and that's not good. But we're not talking about an actual crime here.
Why will you vote for Roy Moore if you think these women are telling the truth?
Well, because I want the Republican Party to, our agenda and everything about getting it changed and everything. So, but I don't know for sure if he'd be an asset or not.
Even if it's true, I don't want to give up a Senate seat.
If he's not elected to the Senate, what you're looking at is a Democrat in the Senate.
If, Roy Moore has stolen a lawnmower when he was 21, that's bad, but that's not a reason 50 years later to all of a sudden, throw him off the ballot.
Big woo.
All right, guys, so you could see, once again, we make things happen on this show. So, I mean, if you've got a cause, especially if it comes to global warming or something like that, or if you're running for something and you aren't a Republican, and guys, I almost hate to be that way, but I have to be. Because, I mean, the Republican Party has one agenda and one agenda only, to screw the working class. And what really gets me is that Uncle Joey, he just doesn't see it. He doesn't see it. Oh, and when I was listening to WLAD this morning, our our local Dave Ranelli was talking, and he said that he was looking at his tax returns and how the new tax plan is probably going to benefit him. He said he was going to make about $900. He was going to benefit to the tune of about $900 a year. And I said to myself, with Trump's tax plan, you're going to get $900 more a year, but you don't have health insurance, and the health insurance that you're going to have to buy is not going to go up because you don't have to pay the penalty anymore. So Dave, one way or the other, you're going to pay. Wouldn't it make more sense to pay and have the insurance than to pay and not have the insurance? See, this is what goes through, this is how a Republican thinks. You know what? Hey, I'm not going to vote Democrat, I'm going to pay more taxes. You're going to pay more taxes, but you'll get more benefits. And this is what makes me crazy. And I'll tell you, the next clip, we're going to show you where I think it was Steve Smith, where he comes up with the term state-run media. So Judy, now that we're switching gears, let's have clip number 10, I believe it, 10.
That Fox News panel, the breathtaking dishonesty of it is beyond my ability to articulate. That is no longer a news organization. That is what American state media looks like.
Guys, I mean, he's just... Judy, can you play that again just so we get a little
that emphasis? Fox News panel, the breathtaking dishonesty of it is beyond my ability to articulate. That is no longer a news organization. That is what American state media looks like.
All right, guys. Now, it wouldn't be fair if we didn't play the whole clip, right? So that's what we're about to do. But this guy is a Republican strategist. He worked for the Republican Party. And he's saying this has gotten past the point of Looney Tunes. These guys are certifiably nuts. And let's play the whole clip and you'll see it and you'll say, wait a minute, Uncle Rich has got a point over here. So Judy, let's have clip number 11 with Steve Schmidt. Go ahead.
There's zero evidence that they acted inappropriately on the basis of those opinions. They're Americans. They get to have political opinions. They didn't abuse their badge. They didn't abuse their office. That Fox News panel, the breathtaking dishonesty of it is beyond my ability to articulate. That is no longer a news organization. That is what American state media looks like. That is what White House controlled in the service of the president misinformation looks like. That is indistinct from propaganda in authoritarian countries. It is aimed directly at weakening essential institutions and misinforming the American people. It is appalling.
And if you want to see just the clarity of it, this is a tiny little thing. That guy, one of those guys on Fox News, that guy Tom Fitton the other night said, do we, forget about shutting down Mr. Mueller, do we need to shut down the FBI because it was turned into a KGB-type operation by the Obama administration? That is the level of discourse that's happening from Fox News right now on this topic. Think about that. Do we need to shut down the FBI because it has been turned into a KGB-style operation by the Obama administration?
Dishonest, pernicious nonsense.
And coordinated.
And coordinated,
it's by design.
premeditated.
As a diplomat has reminded me, when someone gets hurt, there'll be people with blood on their hands. Ken Delaney, and thank you so much for spending time with us. When we come back, Donald Trump is changing the face of the judiciary at a record pace. So fast.
Now, guys, the question you should be asking, who is Tom Fitton, and is CNN trying to give me the double reverse? Well, that's what we're here for, guys. That's why we do the show. So, Judy, if there's one thing I love doing, it's proving exactly what they said. So let's have clip number 13 with Tom Fitton. I think it's 13. I don't have glasses. I can't see.
My next guest has been pressing for answers from the FBI on the salacious but still unverified so-called Trump dossier. So let's bring in Tom Fitton, president of Judicial Watch. Good to see you tonight, Tom.
Thanks for having me, Sharon.
It seems...
I think the FBI has been compromised. Forget about shutting down Mr. Mueller. Do we need to shut down the FBI because it was turned into a KGB-type operation by the Obama administration?
A lot of people are going to feel like that's a pretty radical statement to make.
That's a pretty radical statement to make. Do you realize what you've just said? And do you realize that we just proved to our audience that you said it? So, you know, we showed you what CNN had to say, and now we backed up by... Judy, I tell you what, that was a nice short. Let's play it again, just so everybody...
My next guest has been pressing for answers from the FBI on the salacious but still unverified so-called Trump dossier. So let's bring in Tom Fitton, president of Judicial Watch. Good to see you tonight, Tom.
Thanks for having me, Sharon.
It seems...
I think the FBI has been compromised. Forget about shutting down Mr. Mueller. Do we need to shut down the FBI because it was turned into a KGB-type operation by the Obama administration?
A lot of people are going to feel like that's a pretty radical statement to make.
The FBI was turned into a KGB operation, and you heard it on Fox News. And she did try to back him up a little bit, but you know what? If that clown would have come on this show, I would have looked him right in the eye and would say, whoa, hold the phone. Hold the phone. Do you realize what you've just done? And this is what these journalists have to do. When somebody is ridiculous, you do what, guys? You ridicule them. And don't take no prisoners. When somebody acts like an idiot, treat them like an idiot. And, you know, when people act like Uncle Joey and refuse to read a thermometer and they refuse to accept what's real, you know, treat them like an idiot. But, you know, the next clip, we're going to show you an actual FBI agent. And I think, Mike Rogers is his name. And this guy was insulted by what he heard from this clown, Fitton. So, Judy, let's have clip number 13.
And unifying Americans of all backgrounds. Jake.
All right, Sarah Murray, thank you so much. My panel's back with me. I'll talk about that issue in a second, but first, Congressman Rogers, for people who don't know, you're a former FBI official, FBI agent, and
FBI official,
chairman of the House Intelligence Committee. This was part of the knowledge on which you reached. I do want to get your reaction to the attacks that are going on right now from the administration and from friendly media on the FBI, including this from Greg Jarrett on Fox News.
The Mueller investigation is illegitimate and corrupt. And Mueller has been using
this guy was arrested in an airport for
as a
being
political
drunk,
weapon. And the FBI has become America's secret police. It's like the old KGB that comes for you in the dark of the night, banging through your door.
What do you think?
I can't tell you how dangerous this is. The FBI is a very, important institution across this country. And every day, members of the FBI, men and women, are engaging investigations to keep America safe from child pornographers, from terrorists, from folks who are spies and trying to commit espionage against the country, organized crime, criminals, violent crime, all of it. And if you have a difference of opinion on a special investigation, then maybe you should express that. But to condemn the FBI undermines an institution that plays a very important role in the United States of America. And by the way, it is the shiny city on the hill to every other law enforcement agency in the world. They want to be like the FBI. They want to be able to tackle corruption in their own government in a way that allows them to complete their investigation. Most countries don't have anything close to that. So when you get into this pattern of, I agree with the FBI, they're great. Oh my gosh, they're investigating someone I like, they're bad. And then take it and ramp it up and compare them, KGB or the Stasi, is absolutely offensive. And every agent in the FBI, thank God, they'll get a little miffed they'll get another cup of coffee and they're going to go back to work. That's what makes them the FBI. I tell you, though, we need to stop this now. Republicans, Democrats, everybody, stop dragging this institution that is going to be there when you're gone, protecting your grandkids. Stop destroying its ability to do its mission. And I find that stuff not only offensive, but dangerous.
Kevin?
I agree, and I think I'd offer another reminder. Not only are they working on a lot of important stuff, they're risking their lives. Right now, somebody in the FBI, an FBI agent, is risking their life for this country. And so to just try and to undermine it as an institution like that, when what their main focus is, and I worked at the Department of Justice, I was fortunate enough to work with the FBI, they're driven by evidence. They are driven by the law. And they're driven by protocols. Everything that they do involves a very rigorous process in order to follow the law and make sure that they are upholding the law. So it is, again, I would agree with Chairman Rogers. It is very dangerous to try and undermine an institution like that.
And Jen Psaki, you were communications director at the White House in 2016 when James Comey, the FBI director, gave his press conference.
Let's go over what he said again. The FBI is driven by evidence? Man, the Republicans will never believe them. They refuse to accept evidence. They only believe what they hear on Fox News. Forget about evidence. But guys, let's see. I'm getting a little lost here. We're still going to have one more clip with fun with Sean Hannity and virtually how they get everything kind of ass backwards. So, Judy, clip 14, please.
All right, Ken, let me show you something that may have gotten me a little worked up. Let me show you something from Sean Hannity last night comparing the FBI to Watergate.
Bigger than Watergate? In so many different ways, it is.
Sarah?
It's more pervasive.
Sarah?
This is unbelievable.
Yes, I think so, and I agree with Greg.
Spying by the FBI, Justice Department, intelligence agencies on the political opponents of the administration of Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton.
Yes or
Easier
no?
than Watergate by far.
I say Watergate on steroids, human growth hormone overdoses.
Crazier than my dog after her stroke?
There is so much to say about that, but I'm going to kick it to Steve in a moment, but I will say, he was talking about the notion of useful idiots. Just watch that little piece of tape again and just think useless idiots.
Well, no, I mean, I don't want it.
Worse than useless.
No, you know,
worse than useless.
Useful idiots. Why are they giving him so much credit? All right, the next clip. Brian Stelter is going to get serious, guys. And I tell you, he's really going to rip into Fox, and we're going to have a whole lot of fun. And, you know, we're just going to keep going. So, Judy, let's have clip number 15, please.
Robert Mueller is investigating Russia's attack on the American election. But now he is under attack. And this new assault is not coming from Moscow. It's coming from Fox News headquarters right here in New York. And it's coming from the White House. It's an anti-Mueller, anti-FBI feedback loop, claiming that Mueller's probe is hopelessly biased and downright corrupt. Let's cue Fox.
I think what we have here is potentially one of the biggest scandals in American history, where we're seeing, you know, our justice system being used to really change the outcome of an election.
That's from Fox and Friends just today. Now let's cue Trump aide Kellyanne Conway last night.
This is reality.
The fix was in against Donald Trump from the beginning, and they were pro-Hillary.
In America, look at that.
This is the feedback loop in action. I want you to see it over and over again. Fox, Trump, his aides, GOP lawmakers, all of them, they're taking a legitimate issue, which is the discovery of a Mueller team member who expressed his hatred of Trump in text messages, and then they're blowing it up, trying to discredit the entire probe. Now remember, that team member was removed from the probe when the text messages were found. But every day it's something new, some new reason to claim the special counsel is illegitimate. So as you watch the coverage, try to notice how this works. Notice how right-wing commentators and GOP lawmakers are echoing each other. And pay close attention to the banners on the bottom of Fox's screen. Last night, I can't believe this, Fox is asking if the FBI is engaged in a coup. This morning, the banner said the investigators are in the hot seat. This isn't just an alternate reality. This is a reversal of reality. Obviously, it's Trump world that is on the hot seat. 4 Trump associates have been charged with crimes. 2 of the 4 have pled guilty. Mueller is investigating a massive fire, and everyone can see and smell the smoke. But this, instead, is what the president's hearing.
And that's right,
The only thing that remains is whether we have the fortitude to not just fire these people immediately, but to take them out in cuffs.
That is Jeanine Pirro, one of Trump's informal advisors, not just calling for firings, but arrests. Look, I don't say this lightly, but these FOTs, these friends of Trump, they're talking like propagandists. This sounds like propaganda, and it sounds dangerous. Pirro's demanding a cleansing of the FBI. Sean Hannity's calling Mueller the head of the snake. Other Fox hosts are calling the FBI corrupt and out of control. Rush Limbaugh is describing it as a coup. And guests on these programs are comparing the FBI to the KGB. The conservative media choir is telling Trump that Mueller is out to get you, trying to reverse the outcome of the election. It doesn't get any more dangerous than that. Joining me now to talk about this, Kurt Bardella. He's a former spokesman for Breitbart, now the president of Endeavor Strategies. Hadass Gold, a CNN reporter who covers politics, media, and business. And David Folkenflik is the media correspondent for NPR. Kurt, what is going on here?
Well, I think you're seeing exactly that. Fox News has basically become de facto state-run propaganda. It's state-controlled, state-run television that is beginning its cues directly from the White House. I don't know how anyone can look at what's going on right now and not reach that determination. Trump is creating his own reality.
But when you say that, it's not as if the White House is literally running Fox. Or are you saying they are?
Well, if you look at the coverage, it sure seems like they are. They have gone so far extreme. I remember the days, Brian, when what you saw on pages like Breitbart were considered the fringe. It was considered so far beyond the mainstream, not even Fox News would touch what was on those pages. Now, Fox is going almost further than Breitbart. And you have right now, at this second, there's an ad running in different markets with Fox News contributor Tommy Lauren advocating and attacking the Mueller investigation.
So, David Folkenflik, do we call this collusion?
I think you've seen an almost total erosion between what you're hearing from Trump administration officials desperately spinning and trying to defend the president, Trump surrogates who appear on cable channels all the time, and the Fox News talent, the hosts, the commentators, the people being paid by Rupert Murdoch and by 21st Century Fox at Fox News. They're offering the same message, and the message is don't look at or think about what may be under investigation. Let's find whatever we can to undermine the pillars of the respect that we tend to confer upon institutions like the FBI and the Justice Department.
You and I have covered Fox News for years. Is it appropriate to call the channel a news channel?
No.
It's such a good question. I think that
Shepard Smith is a journalist. He works for Fox.
Here's what I would say.
Bear is a journalist.
Here's
he works
what I
for
would
Fox.
say. Here's what I would say, and I think it's only more true now in the Trump era. I would say that there are journalists, there are reporters, there are producers, there are people who care about the news who work at Fox News. Fox News is not about news. Fox News is about Fox. Fox News is about getting a tonal point of view, making sure viewers get what they think viewers need to get, whether or not that involves much of the time at facts. And you see it, you know it's true because it's true at the most highly rated times of day. It's true for who's being paid, who's being promoted, why are they being promoted. You see anchors who are slipping into some of those Fox and Friend hosts guest slots, and they start to take a sharper tone. They start to take a more kind of incredulous look on their faces. They are pushing out the same message of incredulity about prosecutors, investigators doing their job, trying to look at some very serious issues being raised about the people who are around this president.
So rather than just talk about what Fox is saying, let's watch some more of it. Hadass, watch this clip with me, and then on the other end, talk to me.
Guys, they're career Foxstitutes. That they're paid to sell their souls. It's really that simple, you know? And then, you know, the one thing that we like to do on this show, and the reason why we surround ourselves with the question marks, because we always like to say, be specific and cite your source. Right, Uncle Joey? Oh, Uncle Joey hates me because I keep asking him to cite a source where there's a chart that shows me that global cooling is happening. and he hates to hear it. But we always say be specific and cite your source. Well, the next clip we're going to play is called According to Who? And when you hear something, you know, there used to be the old lingo, well, some people say. Well, now we say, according to who? So, Judy, let's have clip number 16, please.
I can say this. When you look at what's gone on with the FBI and with the Justice Department, people are very, very angry. Thank you very much.
What
everybody.
people, Donnie? What people?
People are
Who?
very, very angry. People are very, very angry. Who? What people? Well, I'll tell you who. Those whom the president pays closest attention to, his supporters.
There you go.
Do we need to shut down the FBI because it was turned into a KGB-type operation by the Obama administration?
The stench coming out of the Justice Department and the FBI is like that of a third world country where money and bullies and clubs decide elections.
It would be Watergate on human growth hormone and steroids combined at massive levels.
It's a banana republic.
And you're the one who had to untangle it, Sean, not the federal government.
Oh, thank you, Sean.
A KGB-type operation, third world country, worse than Watergate, a banana republic. So by people who are very angry, the president is referring to those who are true believers in him and or those who have a career interest in such decidedly pro-Trump biases. They think nothing of this incredibly extremist rhetoric. Impugning the integrity of Bob Mueller and Justice Department officials and the entire FBI. A hearty congratulations to all the graduates out there at the FBI Academy in Quantico. Good luck out there. My panel is here with me. We should note that White House attorney...
So, guys, there you have it. People that have a career interest in promoting the Republican agenda going on Fox News. And one of the Foxstitutes, and we're going to play a short clip, is Ed Henry. And guys, I want you to pay close attention to exactly what he says, because you're going to say, once you hear this, you're going to say, according to who? So, Judy, let's have the first part, clip number 17, please.
Well, the new information I'm told tonight by Republicans close to the committee is that Donald Trump Jr. and his attorney were asked to surrender their phones before he went behind closed doors for that testimony. But then during the hours of testimony, they noticed Adam Schiff was leaving the room at various times. And then these stories started popping up on CNN and elsewhere about the testimony, leading them to believe the leaks were coming right from the top.
So the leaks were starting to pop up. So what did he do? He made the assumption that Adam Schiff was the one that was leaking it. And that's all he had to do, because now he planted the seed, and now Fox can go on. And we'll go on, and we'll show you the whole clip, and you'll see how they used the deception to trick the simple folk. And after a while, you would think that Uncle Joey would become a critical thinker, and he would say, wait a minute. You're not tricking me anymore, but he doesn't care. I think he likes being tricked. He likes being made a monkey out of, right, Joey? Oh, and by the way, the next 2 weeks, the studio's gonna be closed. We got Christmas and then we got New Year's. But the week after that is gonna be show 200. And Uncle Joey, you have an open invitation to come down, sit here like a gentleman, and let me make a monkey out of you, if you want. I mean, I'm not going to insult you. I'm going to insult your ideas. But, Joe, to be quite honest with you, why don't you just stay fictitious and let people think how stupid you are instead of coming on the show and proving it? Just a word of advice, Joey. So anyway, now we're going to play the full clip, and you can see the way that this is called the Ingram angle. I love all these Fox shows, the way everything is so interesting. But now you're going to watch the full clip, and guys, you'll see They distort things. They just kind of, well, you saw what Ed Henry did. And by the way, Ed Henry was, he was suspended for sexual implications, but I think he was cleared. So now he's back on Fox. But look at Eric Bolling's gone, Bill O'Reilly's gone, Roger Ailes is gone. Look at all, and I tell you, Megyn Kelly's coming back with more, Gretchen Carlson. Oh boy. She already walked away with $20 million. She's going to walk away with 5 times that. She's going to end up owning Fox by the time she gets done. But anyway, let's play the full clip now, clip number 18, and this is with Laura Ingraham, called The Ingraham Angle. Judy?
If you're dying to see California Congressman Adam Schiff, just turn on the television at any point in the day, anytime, any channel. Because the top-ranking Dem on the House Intel Committee is the main proponent of the Russia collusion narrative.
I just turned it on. He's not on.
All you have right now is a circumstantial case.
You're trying to
actually,
trick
no,
me.
Chuck. I can tell you that the case is more than that. I don't want to go into specifics, but I will say that there is evidence that is not circumstantial.
One of the messages that this Russian advocate may have taken back to Moscow is the Trump administration will be very amenable to repealing the Magnitsky Act.
The Russians gave help, and the president made full use of that help. And that is pretty damning.
Here's the problem. He's like a carnival barker, but there's nothing under the tent. There's not a shred of evidence backing up his accusations. But that doesn't stop him from playing the mainstream media like a fiddle. And we're going to discuss this now with Michelle Malkin in a moment. But first, let's go to Fox News Chief National Correspondent Ed Henry with more. Ed.
Good to see you, Laura. The fact that allies of President Trump are now turning up the heat on Schiff may help explain why today the top Democrat on the House Intel Committee tried to point the finger elsewhere. Schiff tweeting, quote, "I'm increasingly worried Republicans will shut down the House Intelligence Committee investigation at the end of the month." Adding, quote, "It appears Republicans want to conduct just enough interviews to give the impression of a serious investigation." Well, how serious has that investigation been? Let's dive deep on what happened when Donald Trump Jr. arrived to testify on December 6th behind closed doors for over 7 hours. While he was still behind closed doors mid-testimony, CNN was already posting stories suggesting Donald Trump Jr. was testifying to something nefarious. CNN reporting that according to multiple sources familiar with the testimony that was still going on, quote, "Donald Trump Jr. told House investigators he did not communicate directly with his father when confronted with news reports about his June 2016 Trump Tower meeting. Instead, Trump Jr. said he was speaking to White House aide Hope Hicks about how to respond to the reports." That sparked a flurry of reports suggesting maybe Hope Hicks, the White House communications director, had some deeper, unspecified role in a collusion narrative, even though it was not clear that there was anything criminal or even inappropriate about those conversations. Well, the new information I'm told tonight by Republicans close to the committee is that Donald Trump Jr. and his attorney were asked to surrender their phones before he went behind closed doors for that testimony. But then during the hours of testimony, they noticed Adam Schiff was leaving the room at various times. And then these stories started popping up on CNN and elsewhere about the testimony, leading them to believe the leaks were coming right from the top. But since Trump Jr.'s team didn't have their phones, they didn't find out about these stories popping up on CNN and elsewhere until several hours after the testimony started. That's why they're demanding the Justice Department investigate whether it was Adam Schiff himself or other top Democrats that did the leaking, and they think that's why Schiff came out today, Laura, and started trying to shift the blame and say the Republicans are trying to shut down this investigation. They're saying Donald Trump Jr. was testifying to what he knew, and during the testimony, leaks were springing up everywhere.
I love that, leaving the room. It's like kids in class where they're leaving to like get the notes that they stored under the toilet or something in the bathroom. And I appreciate it. Thanks so much. And joining us now with a reaction from Colorado Springs, Michelle Malkin, the host of Michelle Malkin Investigates on CRTV. Michelle, I mean, you cannot make this up.
You can't make it up? You just did. What are you talking about? You can make up whatever you want. It's Fox News. You're supposed to make stuff up. You're not supposed to deal with reality. You're not supposed to deal with the truth. You're only supposed to deal with what's Republican. It's really simple. And guys, I tell you, and I sit there and I watch this and I say, you got to be kidding me. But I mean, after a while, it becomes so obvious to me, but I've been doing this for a while. I mean, I know when they're blowing the dog whistles and I can hear what's going on. And I tell you, it's just amazing the way they try to get people to think. And what they, just because somebody left the room, they're making the assumption that he's in the bathroom texting this stuff out. Well, come on, you guys, do you realize how many other people are involved and how many other people are guessing just like you what's going on? But with Fox, they just, hey, forget about guests, let's just make it up. You saw in the very first clip, the one guy said he got paid $50,000. He goes, is that true? He goes, no, I just made it up. Why not? This is Fox News. Make up whatever you want. Nobody will ever question you, and they'll never ask you if you're telling the truth, that's for sure. But guys, the next clip, if I got my act together, is going to be how Republicans play ball different from Democrats. And the clip is going to kind of be self-evident. So, Judy, let's have number 19, please. Senate Republicans are refusing. Look at that.
Today, we Senate Democrats are calling on Mitch McConnell to hit pause on his tax bill and not hold a final vote until Doug Jones is sworn into the Senate. Doug Jones will be the duly elected senator from the state of Alabama. The governor didn't appoint him. He won an election. It would be wrong for Senate Republicans to jam through this tax bill without giving the newly elected senator from Alabama the opportunity to cast his vote.
Has this ever happened before? Look at this, guys. Newly elected Republicans, Scott Brown, be allowed to vote on Obama.
Well, the winner, whoever it is, should be sworn in promptly.
Mitch is singing.
We're going to wait until the new senator arrives before we do anything more on health care.
Oh, look at that. The high road. And they're playing
Mitch McConnell should now, allow Doug Jones to come to Washington. He's now been duly elected by the people of Alabama. He should have a vote for them on the pressing issues of the day, which includes the tax bill.
Simple, isn't it, guys? And I mean, you saw the proof. The Republicans don't play by the same rule. The Republicans, the table is tilted. Why? Because that's where the donations come from. And that's where the money goes to. And that's what this tax bill is all about. And we're going to get to the facts now, because we're going to hear the facts from the one guy that will always tell you the truth. And guys, this clip is from Bernie, and it's just about the facts and what's going to happen with this new tax plan. So, Judy, number 20, please.
Legislation, which will have a major impact on our economy, has not had one public hearing.
Not one public hearing, guys.
From economists, from governors, from mayors, from the business community, from ordinary Americans as to what the impact of this legislation will be. This is legislation written for wealthy campaign contributors, and I want to congratulate some of my Republican colleagues for being honest about that. What they said publicly is if they don't pass this bill, their wealthy friends will stop contributing. I appreciate that honesty. Legislation, in fact, not only had no public hearings, but it did have some 6,000 Washington, D.C. lobbyists working on it behind closed doors. Mr. Chairman, every poll that I have seen shows that by overwhelming numbers, the American people do not want this bill to be passed. They know that in the Senate bill, in the midst of massive income and wealth inequality, 62% of the benefits go to the top 1%.
62%, Uncle Joey.
Of the benefits go to the top
42% go to the top 0.1%.
In America today, the very wealthy are becoming much more wealthy while the middle class continues to shrink. And your solution
the rich get
is
richer
to get 62%
and the poor
of the
get
benefits
poorer. Mom,
to the top
you were
1%.
right.
The American people also understand that at the end of 10 years, 83 million middle-class families will see their taxes go up under the Senate bill. They know that with 13 million Americans losing their health insurance, health care premiums on the individual market will increase by 10%. And they know that despite the Republicans telling us how concerned you are about the deficit is going to go up by $1.4 trillion over the next 10 years.
You believe this?
And what the American people also are deeply concerned about is what House Speaker Ryan is talking about.
Two things you got to do to get this debt under control. Spending
Here it
most
is,
importantly,
guys.
reform entitlement programs and grow the economy.
And what he is talking about is that after you raise the deficit by $1.4 trillion by giving huge tax breaks to the wealthy and large corporations, you're going to come back and you're going to cut Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, and education, and the needs of working families. What kind of decency is there when we have legislation that gives massive tax breaks to billionaires and then comes back in months to cut Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid? This bill must not be passed.
Guys, the Republican Party is evil. What's wrong with these people? And Joey, when are you finally going to wake up? When are you going to say, hey, look, all right, I got it, Rich. I got it. I mean, I've been trying to be cute and I've been trying to be fancy with this global warming stuff, but now I can see I'm really going to have to pay. But you know what? One of the reasons why I do this show is for people like Chris Cuomo. And Chris Cuomo did an interview with a Republican who tried to lie his way out of this tax BS. And Chris Cuomo wouldn't let him get away. He held his feet to the fire, and the guy tried to use the double reverse on him, and Chris Cuomo wouldn't get away with it. And listen how he kept going back to him. He said, but you voted for it. Oh, that's not what I voted. Yes, you did. You voted. Guys, just watch it and learn how to be a critical thinker, learn how to question properly, and you'll never, these guys won't be able to get away with it anymore. So, Judy, let's prove my point with clip number 21, please.
More people investigating
You're
Donald
worried
Trump
about
and
government waste
Oklahoma
and
City
money?
bombing.
You should have felt strong about this tax bill then, Congressman, because you just blew up our deficit
That's why I voted against the budget. No, you got the wrong guy on that, Chris. I voted against the budget to blow up the deficit.
No, I'm talking about this tax bill.
Budget that would have required mandatory spending cuts. Well, look. Yeah, well, that tax bill should have been accompanied by spending cuts. I think a criticism.
Did you vote for the tax bill or no?
Tax bill simultaneous. Well, I voted for the tax bill, but I did not vote for the budget that allowed it to occur at the same time.
But you voted for the tax bill. I'm saying if you want to be a penny pincher,
well, sure, I'm not going to hold.
You were just pound foolish in that regard, is what I'm saying.
Well, absolutely false, Chris. We should be doing spending cuts. And actually, the president has promised that welfare reform is next, and we're going to try to get this deficit under control because the criticism that we're blowing up the deficit is a fair one. We actually need to get in and cut spending. I agree with that.
This was actually a natural transition. I'm happy we're making it. So we went from Mueller, now we're going with taxes. This matters as well. I'm not feeling you on this, so help me understand your position on this. You can't look at this objectively or subjectively, this tax bill, and see that it's good for the deficit. Even if you look at the magic of growth that you guys are all hoping happens by rewarding businesses, but you voted for it, you see. And that's the problem.
No, what I voted for was a budget that would have demanded simultaneous spending cuts. I don't voted for this tax bill. Spending, but Chris, at the same time, like we have a Congress, unfortunately, that acts far too linearly. They do one thing at a time. I don't really get it. I'm kind of new to the institution.
Why'd you vote yes on the tax bill if you care about the deficit?
Well, because I don't, Chris, because I think we shouldn't hold taxpayers hostage because people in Washington don't know how to cut spending. We do need growth in this economy. We do need to be able to deliver on the promises of a rising tide for all Americans. We have to cut taxes to get there. But you're absolutely
Why do you have to cut taxes to get there? You have growth right now. Alan Greenspan said you don't need a tax cut.
Well, But a lot of that growth is expecting of a tax cut. It's anticipatory
growth. The stock market
we don't actually
is
cut
anticipatory.
Taxes,
it is a casino effect
but
there. That's not affecting wages for the middle class, the people you say you care about.
Well, look, the wages will rise when we bring trillions of dollars from overseas back into the American economy. When you have investor confidence, consumer confidence, well, just about every economist that we have
you have the Wall Street at an all-time high. Who says that giving corporations more money will make them raise wages?
That's anticipatory. Chris, that'll be a sugar high if we don't actually deliver on tax cuts. The stock market is at an all-time high. By the way, something that your network never gives the president credit for.
We talk about it all the time.
Taxes
Matt,
so that we can harden that economic growth.
Stick to the facts. The idea that we don't talk about it and talk about his share of the responsibility, as well as the fact that Trump always said before he ran and even a little bit during it, stop looking at Wall Street as an indicator of Main Street. That's deceptive. It doesn't have anything to do with the reality for people who work for a living. So anyway,
we've been very
stick to the facts.
I
don't see how you can look at this and say, I'm taking care of the deficit. I voted for this tax bill. They just don't go together.
You're right. That's why we've got to cut spending. That's why I keep fighting
you voted
for
it, and now you guys are saying you'll take it out of entitlements, which the president said he wouldn't do.
Do you think we need work requirements? Do you think we need to block grant Medicaid? Those are the things that save money. I'm for all of those things. I keep fighting for those things, but people on the political left, including your network, don't seem to be supportive of spending cuts.
So covers it as it is. Matt, if you can't make strong arguments, you ever hear the expression, if you have the facts, if you don't have the facts, argue the law. If you don't have the law, argue the facts. If you don't have either, bang on the table and start yelling. That's what you're doing. CNN's not your problem, my friend. Your position is you're the one who voted for this tax bill. It blows up the deficit. You got to own it.
Tax bill, and then I do believe that we ought to deal with the deficit through spending cuts. It'd be nice if we had some bipartisanship on that. I don't see a single Democrat.
But you need to do those cuts now on the backs of people who need entitlements because of what you're doing with your tax cut. You're creating your own problem, my brother.
That able-bodied, childless adults need entitlements. Look, people who can go to work and choose not to don't need entitlements. They just get entitlements. And if we had real work requirements like the House fought for in our budget, then you could reduce spending by hundreds of billions of dollars
requirements
and help pay for
in place.
This tax cut.
The idea that malingering
President Obama
is the problem with our entitlement structure is insulting to the reality of people in this country. And you look at your own state and the people who are on entitlements, you're not going to find a lot of lazy people. You're going to find the elderly.
My state
you're going
wants
to find
to do
the
work
sick.
requirements. I was in my state legislature when we tried to do work requirements and the federal government wouldn't let us. I think we could unlock the potential of our great federalist system, have 50 states trying 50 things. In the state of Maine, where work requirements were installed, you saw the food stamp rolls go down. And I think that if we had Washington exercising less control, you'd have more of a vibrant system where people would be able to get folks to work. That would lead to more economic growth. I think these things can ultimately compound and lead to levels of growth that we haven't seen in this country for a generation. And the first step is the tax cut. The next step is spending cuts.
Well, the reality is this. You say you don't want to be linear, then you should look at it in less than just a linear way. You can do your spending cuts, and you didn't have to blow up the deficit with the tax bill. That's why the vote seems inconsistent. But, Congressman, as always, you are welcome on this show to make the case, and I wish you and your family a good Christmas.
So they blow up the deficit. And then after they blow up the deficit, they say, well, we can't spend that much, so we got to make cuts. And what are they going to do? They're going to cut Medicare, Social Security. Guys, I'm about to turn 65. January 3rd's my birthday. I can almost guarantee you this tax thing will get passed on my birthday. And I've been paying into the fund since who knows, since I was carrying papers. But we're going to have a little bit more fun with Betsy DeVos. And you know the one thing I like about Betsy? At least she's a Republican who will lie to you and tell you that she's lying to you and tell you that she expects a reward for her campaign contributions. So first we'll play the short clip and then we'll play the full clip. So Judy, let's hear Betsy DeVos, and let's hear how evil some people can be with clip number 31.
Clear she was laying the groundwork for something with her donations to conservative causes. In a 1997 op-ed, DeVos admitted, "I have decided to stop taking offense at the suggestion that we are buying influence. Now I simply concede the point. They are right. We expect a return on our investment." 20 years later, Senator Bernie Sanders put her on the spot about this exact concept.
Do you think if you were not a multi-billionaire, if your family has not made hundreds of millions of dollars of contributions to the Republican Party, that you would be sitting here today?
By the end of 2016,
now you see why I love Bernie. Bing! Right between the eyes. Bada bing! All right, now we're going to play the full clip. Judy, how much time do we have left? Okay, this clip's 3:34, so we'll just run out on this clip, and then you can come back with the credits at the end and just leave me enough time to say goodbye to everybody for the, so they can have a Merry Christmas. See that? There's no war on Christmas here. We love every holiday. All right, so Judy, let's have number 32, please.
And it is quite frankly embarrassing.
That's Betsy DeVos, our Secretary of Education, born to a billionaire industrialist, a conservative Christian activist, hails from the 88th richest family in America.
I'm not only a Republican, even worse, I'm a well-off Republican.
DeVos positioned herself in politics early on. She was elected as student senate at Calvin College, a reformed church school. She volunteered for Gerald Ford's 1976 re-election campaign and attended the Republican National Convention in Kansas City. And shortly after, she met her husband, Dick DeVos, son of billionaire Richard DeVos, who was the co-founder of the multi-level marketing scheme Amway. Meanwhile, DeVos was working her way up the Republican ladder, first as county GOP chair, then as one of Michigan's delegates to the Republican National Convention. DeVos became a constant in conservative politics in Michigan, serving 4 terms as state GOP chair. She worked closely with the second Bush administration and raised more than $150,000 for the campaign. The DeVos family has donated more than $200 million to a number of right-wing and Christian causes. Her brother, Eric Prince, has his own ties to big money. He formed Blackwater, a military contracting service whose employees opened fire on unarmed Iraqi civilians in 2007, killing 17 and injuring 20 in a crowded square in Baghdad. The company rebranded itself several times after the incident tainted their image. Oh, and he's quite the Trump supporter as well.
It doesn't get any easier than that.
Absolutely not.
During the 2016 campaign cycle, DeVos donated millions to several Republican presidential candidates. First, Jeb Bush and Carly Fiorina, and then Marco Rubio, but not Donald Trump, who she'd be working for just months later.
They didn't give in to Donald Trump. Uh-oh, there's trouble. Well, she's secretary of whatever. Guys, I'll tell you. But anyway, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I hope tonight we kind of learned something. But when you watch Fox News, guys, I want to tell you, they're making me crazy. And this nonsense has got to stop. So anyway, everybody, we'll see you in 3 weeks. Happy holidays. Take care, guys.